invite you to relax into this sacred time and sacred space that you have created for yourself. I invite you to fully immerse yourself in this radical act of self-love, to step into your power, to become your own healer, your own shaman. So make yourself comfortable. Take a few deep breaths to prepare yourself for the journey ahead. And dive into this deep medicine of the imagination. Closing your eyes and bringing your awareness into the here and now, into this time and into this place. Into your body and into your breath. Because this is time for you. It's time to be, time to rest, relax, release, and recharge. Okay, so just as I was beginning this transmission, I was getting a lot of tickles around my nose. And now I can see an image of a nose, like a really big nose in front of me. Big deep breath. Okay, I'm on the right track. It seems a bit strange. I don't generally see noses. I mostly see eyes in my transmissions. I don't generally see noses. Okay, what's this nose about, please? I've still got a really tickly nose of my own as well. So I might need to just scratch it and tickle it a bit. Okay, what's the relevance of this nose, please? Okay, I'm being told that this nose is to help you to sniff out the truth. Okay, so sniffing out the truth is what we're doing. Thank you for that. How is this relevant to where we are at this time, please? Okay, the allies have got a sense of humour with this one. They say not only is this nose for sniffing out the truth, it's also for sniffing out the bullshit, which often has a much stronger stink to it. So, okay, this is the nose of truth and nose of bullshit. So they're saying to me that everybody knows the smell of shit when they smell it. It's unmistakable. It's unmistakable. My children and I have been living recently. We live on a boat, and recently we were living near a water treatment sewage works, and every time we drove past it, my kids would be like, "Ugh, that smells of poo." You know, everybody knows what shit smells like, what bullshit smells like. You can't avoid it, you can't evade it, you know what it smells like. And so this is the analogy that they're giving to me, that this nose is to help us to sniff out the truth, but in the converse to that, to sniff out the bullshit, which I guess is easier to sniff because it smells horrible. Okay, thank you for that. What else do you have to show me or tell me, please? Right, they're now giving the analogy of the nose being a bit like your third eye. It's not your physical nose, just like you don't see energy or you know, the messages from spirit, you don't see them through your physical eyes mostly, you see them through your third eye, or receive that information through your third eye. This is like your third nose, although I suppose it's your second nose really, isn't it? This is your extrasensory nose. The nose that gives you the ability to smell on a higher plane than simply your physical smell senses. Okay, thank you. Anything else on that topic? Okay, they're just reiterating the point here that if it looks like shit and it smells like shit, then most likely it is shit. And they're saying this in a really quite just a blatant, graphic way, because the information that we are being fed currently is so obviously false and concocted and just fictionalized. You know, my allies are just saying to me, you've got to be able to smell that this is bullshit. You can't. It's like, okay, they're now giving me the image of some people in a lift, and when somebody lets off wind silently, but everyone can smell it, but nobody's acknowledging it. They're saying that that's what's going on in our world right now, is that for the most part, lots of people, they know there's a stink, they know that there's bullshit in the lift, but nobody's actually, or not enough people are calling it out and pointing it out and acknowledging it. And that this is what we now have to do, that this is our task for this time, is to acknowledge the bullshit and to really speak it out, because as long as we stay silent about the elephant in the room, as long as we stay silent about the big pile of bullshit in the middle of the lift, you know, we're never going to be able to clean it up, are we? We're never going to be able to deal with it if we don't acknowledge that it's there. And this is what they're saying. I'm laughing because I've never had my spiritual allies be quite so gratuitously graphic in a transmission before. It's normally pretty kind of like nature and angels and elements. They don't generally bring me steaming piles of bullshit, but that's exactly what they're bringing today. That's exactly what they're bringing today, and they are using the steaming pile of bullshit as the massive lies and deception psychological operation that we are going through. That is the steaming pile of bullshit. And if we don't talk about it, and if we don't acknowledge it as what it is, you know, this is it's not true, it's not authentic, it's certainly not in the way that it's been portrayed. And more people are starting to smell that bullshit, and we need to start talking about it. We all need to start talking about it to each other, because that's the only way that we're going to gain a collective consensus on how to actually deal with it. So this is the message. Don't be afraid of calling out the bullshit when you see it and when you smell it. Don't be the person in the lift pretending that the smell's not there, to be polite or to be, you know, good-mannered or whatever it is. You know, we have all sorts of strange protocols around silencing and censoring ourselves in our society to basically maintain the comfort of others. In the scenario of the people in the lift where somebody's farted or let off wind, people stay silent so as not to embarrass somebody else or to call out what's really a very natural bodily function that everybody does. but people censor themselves because they don't want to cause embarrassment or they don't want to offend somebody. And people are doing the same thing with this global hoax and choreographed power grab on human sovereignty. That's what's going on. There's a power grab on human sovereignty, and it stinks to high heaven. And the hallmarks of it are all over the place. You can see, if you even just spend 5 minutes scratching the surface of this, that none of it makes sense, that none of it makes sense in the way that the narrative is being presented to us. And it hasn't from the very beginning. So, let's not try and be so polite that we end up sacrificing our own sovereignty so as not to offend anybody else. We need to stand up and speak our truth and speak clearly about what's going on here. Otherwise, we are going to be stripped of every single bit of human dignity that we ever thought we had. Okay, thank you, allies. Is there anything else that you have for us today, please? So this is an interesting thing. As I was just asking for the next part of the transmission to come through, I kind of moved my body around a bit and clasped my hands in front of my stomach area, in front of my solar plexus. I'm lying down at the minute just so that you can get an idea of how my body is. So I'm lying down, and I didn't intend to hold my hands like this, but I've just kind of clasped my hands, interlaced fingers, over my solar plexus, and I'm just resting them on my stomach. And I'm being told that this is a strong stance to protect your own power. That's what they're saying to me, that this is a kind of like a mudra, a hand posture that is about protecting your own power. And so I encourage you to, or I invite you to try this out and see how it feels to you. I'm doing this right now, and it feels good. It feels strong. It does feel protecting, but it also feels as if, because my hands are kind of clasped together, there's a cupped aspect going on, which kind of allows my stomach, or my energy field, really my solar plexus energy field, just to protrude into this cup of it. It kind of feels like the personal power that sits at my solar plexus is filling this cup that is made by my hands. And so what I'm being told about this is that this is a way of kind of connecting to your own personal power. And that this is a helpful position to sit or lie in order to both acknowledge and connect to and honour your own personal power, but also to become more aware of being able to use it and to foster its power, really, to foster your power. Which, when we take this in the context of the calling out bullshit thing, is all, you have to be able to do that calling out, to be able to do that pointing out the big steaming pile of bullshit in the middle of the room or in the middle of the lift or wherever you happen to find yourself in the middle of the world. You have to be strong in your own sense of self. You have to be able to garner your own courage and strength and bravery. And I'm being told that this is the time to to really start stepping into our own personal power and reach into ourselves, because we have to protect our own sovereignty, to protect ourselves and our loved ones and our children and our future. We have to dig deep, and we have to step into this wellspring of personal power, which for so long has been trampled on, and many social engineering techniques have been used against us to reduce this personal power down to as small as possible, as small an amount of power as possible. And so we're being asked at this time to reach into ourselves and expand that power, and to allow it to flood out again. Okay, is there anything else that you wish to show me or tell me, please, for this transmission? Being told no, that's it for today. Okay, so I'd like to give thanks to all of those who come and helped in this healing work today. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for the healing. And now, taking a few deep breaths. Coming back into this time and back into this place. Back into your body and back into your breath. Giving your fingers a little wiggle. Giving your toes a little wiggle. And stretching yourself out to return to the here and now. And I look forward to taking another soul journey with you soon. Lots of love, Joanna Joy.